Huawei just dropped a bombshell, claiming their HarmonyOS will go toe-to-toe with Android and iOS by the end of 2025. That's right, Huawei's homegrown operating system is making waves, and it's aiming to shake up the smartphone world. We're talking about a system that's already a hit in China and could soon challenge the big dogs globally. Curious about how Huawei plans to pull this off? Stick with me, because this video is your front row seat to the future of mobile tech. Alright, let's break it down. Huawei has been building HarmonyOS from the ground up, and it's no small feat. In a recent interview with CCTV, Richard Yu, the chairman of Huawei's device business unit, laid out their big vision. He said HarmonyOS is on track to match Android and iOS by the end of 2025. That's a bold claim, but Huawei's got the momentum to back it up. Let's dive into why this matters and how they're making it happen. First, let's talk about HarmonyOS Next. This isn't just an update, it's a complete break from Android. Unlike earlier versions that leaned on Android's open source code, HarmonyOS Next is 100% Huawei's own tech. It's running on a custom microkernel designed to be fast, light, and ready for the future. You said building this from scratch was tough, but it's paid off. HarmonyOS is now on everything: smartphones, tablets, smart TVs, wearables, earbuds, and even PCs with HarmonyOS 5.0. That's a huge leap from its start in 2019 as an OS for smart TVs. Huawei is not just playing catch-up, they're building an ecosystem that could rival the best. Now, here's the exciting part. HarmonyOS is already a star in China. It's got 19% of the Chinese mobile OS market, beating Apple's iOS at 17% in Q4 2024, according to Counterpoint Research. Globally, it's sitting at 5% market share, making it the third biggest mobile OS behind Android and iOS. And get this, HarmonyOS is running on over 1 billion devices worldwide. That's smartphones, tablets, and more, all working together seamlessly. Yu calls this the full scenario advantage, where your phone, tablet, and TV can share apps and data like it's no big deal. Imagine starting a game on your phone and picking it up on your TV without missing a beat. That's the kind of magic Huawei's aiming for. But what makes HarmonyOS stand out? Yu says it's all about being smarter, safer, and faster. First, security. HarmonyOS Next has something called Star Shield security that locks down your data tight. Apps can only access what they need, like one photo instead of your whole gallery, and permissions reset after use. Compare that to Android, which Yu says is stuck with an outdated setup that struggles with new tech. HarmonyOS, on the other hand, is built fresh, with no old baggage, so it can handle cutting-edge features like AI without breaking a sweat. Speaking of AI, HarmonyOS's Celia Assistant is getting smarter, offering recommendations for everything from travel to privacy settings. Huawei claims it's outpacing Android and iOS in AI smarts. And then there's performance. Huawei says HarmonyOS Next is 30% smoother than its older versions and saves 56 minutes of battery life. It even frees up 1.5 gigabytes of memory for multitasking. Early testers are raving about how fluid it feels compared to iOS, with animations that make Apple's system seem sluggish. That's a big deal when you're switching from an iPhone and expect a premium experience. Huawei is not just talking the talk, they're backing it up with real results. Now, let's talk about apps, because that's where things get tricky. HarmonyOS Next doesn't run Android apps natively, which is a bold move. Huawei's built over 30,000 native apps for its app gallery as of June 2025, up from 15,000 in October 2024. That's impressive growth, but it's still way behind the millions on Google Play or Apple's App Store. To help, Huawei's pouring 10 billion yuan a year into developers, offering cash incentives and training 100,000 developers a month. They've even got apps like Amazon, Netflix, and YouTube running in a special container, though there are some hiccups like missed notifications. Yu says by September 2025, HarmonyOS apps will be just as easy to use as Android and iOS apps. That's a tight deadline, but Huawei's betting big on it. Now, here's the big question. Can HarmonyOS really take on Android and iOS? In China, it's already a powerhouse, thanks to Huawei's strong hardware like the Mate 70 series, which sold 1.5 million units in its first month. The company's smartphone sales jumped 64% in early 2024, stealing market share from Apple and local rivals. But globally, that's tougher. Huawei's been hit hard by US sanctions, losing access to Google services, which tanked their global market share. Right now, HarmonyOS Next is only in China, and Huawei hasn't shared a clear timeline for a global rollout. Posts on X show excitement about HarmonyOS hitting Africa and Europe soon, but there's no official word yet. Plus, getting developers outside China to build for HarmonyOS is a challenge, especially since the SDK requires strict registration tied to Chinese authorities. So what's the catch? The app ecosystem is young, and global users might miss their favorite apps. In China, HarmonyOS phones come with pre-installed apps and add-ins, which some users find annoying. Outside China, Huawei's support for devices like the Mate 40 Pro has been spotty, with slow updates and inconsistent features. If Huawei wants to win globally, they'll need to step up their game on software support and convince developers to jump on board. But with 1 billion devices and a patriotic push in China, Huawei's got a solid foundation to build on. What does this mean for 2025? Huawei's playing high-stakes chess. They're not just competing on hardware anymore. It's about the ecosystem. HarmonyOS Next could force Apple and Google to rethink their strategies, especially in China, where Huawei's already ahead of iOS. If Huawei can keep growing their app ecosystem and go global, they might just hit their goal of 1/3 of the global OS rocket. That's a big if, but with 10,000 developers and 130 million lines of code, Huawei's not messing around. The Snapdragon Summit on September 23, 2025 might steal some thunder, but Huawei's got the Mate 70 series and HarmonyOS 6.0 ready to fight back. That's the scoop on HarmonyOS Next and Huawei's plan to take on Android and iOS. This OS is shaping up to be a real contender, and we're pumped to see where it goes. What do you think? Is HarmonyOS Next the future of smartphones, or will Android and iOS stay on top? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this tech talk started. For more leaks, specs, and tech news, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss an update. This is your go-to source for all things tech. Until next time, stay plugged in.